Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Welcome to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studio inside Max6 Workspace and the Conscious Capitalism Arizona headquarters in Tempe, Arizona, where we help build businesses and connect you with the right people. I'm your host, Karen Nowicki, and I'm very excited to have an opportunity to meet some new folks, at least new to me. Nico Tambakeras, owner of Wellspring Center for Health and Healing. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
How did I nail that last name? Did I do it
Perfect.
justice? Good. Very good. And here comes my second challenge of the day. The leadership team, co-founders of Holistic Made, Jonathan and Sascha Schlossberg.
Nailed it.
Yay!
You
That's
are
a first. Because I will always practice, not always, most of the time, I try to remember to practice, and then I will end up botching it. So I'm pretty pleased. 2 for 2 this morning. Well, welcome again to Phoenix Business Radio X, where we just really want to shine the spotlight on you and your businesses. And I know that there's some synergy already amongst your organization. So if we can just begin by having Jonathan and Sascha, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and your company, and then we'll turn it over to Nico.
I'll turn it over to my wife today to let her lead off with that.
She's like, okay, let's go.
Let's do this. So, Holistic Made, we are a health and wellness focused digital agency. So we work with health and wellness businesses like Nico's, as well as other businesses that are intentionally driven. And what we do is SEO and lead generation. So that can depend on what the specific business needs. So it could be Facebook ads, it could be Instagram, YouTube, or LinkedIn.
Really, essentially, because a lot of that also gets lost. People are like, why would I need it? Essentially, we get paid to help other businesses make more money.
I don't know anything about that. What a noble cause. That's what I do. I love it. And SEO and digital presence, how important is that really?
It is so incredibly important. And it is the one thing that often gets overlooked, which is unfortunate. So there's a lot of conversation around it about educating first of why it's so important. You know, we're no longer in an era of newspapers and, people still do direct mail, but it doesn't have the trackability or even the reach. Whereas nowadays with the billions of people on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and who knows what else is coming up, TikTok, AI, all this stuff that and you're still at the front end of the wave. It's not too late. But if you don't take advantage of it now, it's like the same person that still has, a flip phone or a rotary phone at home. I know so many people that have gotten rid of their phones at home. We don't have a home line because it's all in your pocket.
It's funny too, though, because oftentimes I feel like people are looking at the flip side of social media. They're looking at what are they posting? Do they need a social media manager? Do they need, how many times do you post a day? Instead of actually doing what matters, which is the lead generation via these sources. Like you could post all day long, you could hire a social media manager, and now you're increasing your little web footprint, but you're not getting calls in the door. So calls and clients is what we make sure that people are getting.
Yeah, the number of people I'll talk to, and I'd love to know your take on this, Nico, too, is people, I'll talk to them about it, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, I just need to post my offer on my page, on my wall. And I kind of want to bang them over the head going, you're reaching the same 100 people that really just care about your life. They don't want to buy your product or service, or they don't need to get, a massage, or they don't need to go to the chiropractor. What you need to do is get out there and promote yourself and look at it like a business.
Yeah, big shift for us as business owners, and having a digital presence is key no matter what kind of business you're in. I wholeheartedly agree. And I'm in the industry. I'm kind of in that space. I used to own a social media company, and now, of course, Business Radio X is really all around having this digital footprint. And it still is so much for me. I still have to rely on a team to help me navigate the quick changes with the algorithms and where to be and what's appropriate and which platform. And then again, this piece that's behind the scenes. So thankfully, this particular industry has you two to kind of lead the charge. So we'll talk more about it in just a second. Nico, tell us about you and your business.
Yeah, so Wellspring Center for Health and Healing we're focused on massage and aesthetics services, but we take a very complete view to our client relationships. We don't really seek to have a one-off experience or provide a beauty care experience and then someone goes on their way. Typically for us, and this is since our founding, over 10 years ago, we really seek to know someone, become part of their family. Most of the time, families become our clients. So the mom will send the husband and then maybe kids come. And we tend to offer a spa experience if people want that, but we also have the ability to really support physical therapy rehab. We have a couple of therapists who are really highly skilled in that area. And so we like to build a program where people can feel comfortable coming to us as their home away from home. Everyone on our staff just loves talking with whoever is there. And so whether it's a massage therapist, the front desk person, someone they may not be working with day to day, everyone is interacting with our staff. And we're really looking to create a community feeling where there's somewhere they can keep coming back to feel great, look great, and deal with pain issues, which is a big part of what our massage team works on.
When you say massage and aesthetics, what are some of the, you mentioned, did you mention chiropractic care?
We do have a chiropractor who directs the staff and supervises that, and if they need a chiropractic solution on top of what are the typical spa treatments,
physical therapy, I think, was the other thing that you mentioned, right? Or
what we do is we work with a few physical therapy franchises in the Valley, and so we're sort of what they have termed it kind of their aftercare. So after someone is done with PT and they want to go to a place that's got very highly trained massage therapists who are careful, who follow the clinical protocols from the PTs. We can kind of maintain their recovery, keep reporting back to PT, and helping them kind of continue that connection to their body, which is a big piece of what's been lost.
It's amazing.
Huge. Yeah. When I was pregnant with all three of my kiddos, I made sure I got a massage every month, and go still frequently, but it made a big difference. And it's funny, you talked about this community and really this place for families and individuals to go and know that they're going to have great care. When it came time for my third kiddo to be born, and I had to fill out the hospital paperwork, I had my OB, but I didn't have a regular practitioner at the time. So I text my chiropractor, who also has massage care there. I'm like, "Hey, can I list you as my primary?" Because she knew me as well as my OB knew me, and I didn't have anybody else, because that became my community and family. And it sounds like that's much the same with you guys.
Yeah, and actually dealing with pregnant moms and after they have a baby as well is a huge part of what we do. My wife is the lead therapist at the practice, and we just had 2 little ones, so they're both under 4. And she learned a lot about the role of having a really intuitive, connected therapist to usher a mom through the before and after process. And so that is a big focus for us, is to create an environment where women feel comfortable during that period of their lives. So we also will host workshops about that in our space. We have a little educational space / yoga room that we do. We'll bring in providers that can help them figure out ways to take control of their pregnancy process, feel good about it. And my wife actually ends up she just did it a couple of months ago for one of our clients. She actually was invited into the whole birth experience,
wow.
And she went as a sort of a non-partial kind of confidant who'd been through a lot of the process, because this was a new mom, first time. And so my wife was there to facilitate, much like a doula might be there, but that's really a significant part of the connection that we build, is providing women with that comfort around that process.
This is why, this gets me so fired up. This is why we do what we do. So we started the agency officially when I was pregnant with our third.
Oh.
It's a fascinating story. I don't know.
We have plenty of time.
So we'll get to that.
So we live a ways away from Nico. And so we have a chiropractor that we see up closer to us. And she actually attended my pregnancy. And it was at a birth center, and it was amazing. But nobody knows about this.
Right.
Like when you get pregnant, you get all the emails, because amazing internet targeting, you get emailed from The Bump, from all of the big name, and they all tell you, okay, OB, hospital, maybe you need a doula. But then when I encountered my first pregnancy is like all of those pains, all of the crazy pains that start coming in, the OB is just like, oh, that's normal. That's normal. And it's not.
Well, it's not only not, some of it's normal,
Yeah.
but even when it's not, we need to have somebody who is really aware of our bodies and can help us navigate through that pain
Yes.
and eliminating most of it, right?
Yes. So for me, chiropractor and physical therapist helped with the pubic symphysis disorder. I used a physical therapy postpartum because nursing and baby wearing tweaks your posture so much. Those sorts of holistic practitioners are what's totally changed our life. When we had nursing issues, chiropractor.
Yep,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's just start to finish this entire industry. And we discovered it on our own because we just thought you do what you see on TV. And so I'm trying to buy belts to hoist my belly up. And there are solutions, but people need to know about them. And holistic practitioners so often they're so focused on their cause that they're not the ones that are keyed into the SEO or into their own lead generation.
And they shouldn't be, because
Yes.
if Nico was spending his time trying to learn how to navigate digital presence, he's not doing what he needs to do as an owner of a thriving
Yes.
business.
Exactly. And these practitioners come more often than not come from a place of passion.
Yes.
And so they're doing these businesses. They don't necessarily have that marketing business mind that we found that they really need the help. And so it's a process getting in there, but they need to focus and get to focus on what they do best,
It's like the reverse of us. He and I both have our degree in kinesiology. My emphasis is fitness, nutrition, and health.
Oh, what a perfect fit then for
Yes.
what you're doing now and who you're serving.
So when it comes to me, I know just enough information to be dangerous when it comes to my own health and wellness, right? So I go to experts. And then with the way that on the back end, the algorithms and everything is constantly shifting. So we maintain our expertise in what we know, and it creates this great symbiotic relationship because we can't be experts in everything. And it's a
We
waste of
shouldn't
time
have
to
to be.
even try, right?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about how both businesses came together. Anybody interested in sharing that story with us? And Nico, when we have a chance to share that story, why this team? Why would you say, okay, I'm ready for you to help me take it to the next level?
Right. Well, we came together. I was leaving work and some random guy was running me down. And he was like, I can help you. I can help you.
Waving.
Let me help you. And then I was like, I ran away and got in my car. And then the next day I show up at work and I look outside my window and I'm like, there he is again.
Sleeping on the sidewalk
there
waiting
he
for
is.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
With
He's
cookies.
like,
Oh,
they were good. They were good, those cookies, man. They were butterscotch.
Excellent.
The irony is that I can't tell if this is true or not.
Right.
Jonathan gets creative.
It could have been that.
Yeah.
So it's
Kind of like that.
it's the hallucination of what really happened.
Yes.
But it's semi-right. So
The butterscotch cookie.
I wanna take this one, Nico?
I'll give you the real. So the real thing is, Jonathan was very nice. We got connected through an acupuncturist who worked with our practice a little bit. And, right away he took the trouble. He came out, visited the clinic, took a tour, really sat down with me, spent, I think we sat down for 3 hours the first
I
meeting.
think so, yeah.
But I was mostly stuck in my office and then I couldn't get to the door. So no, I'm just kidding, Jonathan. So, it was fantastic, because his interest was in learning about us and learning about who we are and focusing on the truth of what you do when you choose a digital marketing agency and you put the trust of your business in someone like Jonathan and Sascha, is that this is a commitment to each other. We're all very serious about this. We have young families and we want to do the most good possible. We want to be effective. And so Jonathan understood that we would do well together if we felt confident moving into the future together. And so that was the piece that really was impactful for me and my team, was to understand that they're in it for the long haul. And so when we have to make adjustments, we have to look at different things, Jonathan is right there because he's invested in not just getting good outcomes, but in making sure that we get to where we wanted to go. And so it's a much deeper relationship than simply getting a monthly report on our numbers from them.
I think that's so accurate, and I think it's mutual both ways. But that's kind of how we've all. I mean, almost to a detriment, how we end up with our clients. Our chiropractor, who is a client of ours, our friend and came to our birth. And, Nico and I are friends now because we relate on so many levels. So our clients become our friends. They contact us outside of business hours because that's how we roll, because we're as passionate about what we do. It's not like they're a mechanic or, a real estate agent, and they need the help too. And we're happy to help those people, but that's not where our heart lies. And they have Nico and his wife Pagona, her birth story is so fabulous. I got to sit down with her at lunch and just talk to her about that. And what they're setting out to do is change people's lives, transform people. And that's what we like in ourselves as people and how we live our lives, but also what we want to do for businesses.
Well, and to Sascha's point, there are a lot of businesses, particularly in this industry, who are so passionate and skilled at what you're doing that the only piece that is missing to take you to the next level and have that many more people become part of your community and be helped by you is the lack of marketing and correct strategy around how to be out there on the World Wide Web.
Sure.
So you've been around for 10 years in this business.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm curious about your background. How did you land here with this opportunity?
Yeah. So 10 years would be my wife and her original partner have been doing massage and aesthetics and wellness for over 20 years in Scottsdale.
Oh, wow.
And then when I first met her, we started hanging out. I just became interested because my original background was in community education. I ran a few community college and university facilities, but it had a lot to do with serving large populations, bringing on, simple targeted solutions that could really help people. And at first, I have to be honest, this was not my background. And so I thought of massage, spa, aesthetics as a certain type of extravagance, a luxury. But, I would go and pick up my wife from work. So I'd arrive early and maybe have to sit at the front desk and observe what was going on. And I would meet the clients coming in as they wait. And it was strange because I'm thinking, they're just going to sit down and they're going to read a magazine and then go inside to their appointment. But everyone who came in the door knew everything about my wife. They were I barely knew them, and they were telling me things, that were very personal. And I'm thinking, why they're so connected? They're here, they're fully present right here, and they're open. And so I got to know a number of the clients who are generally very successful, really great, positive people. And I realized that there was something deeper happening in those therapy rooms. It wasn't just about the quality of the treatments. Obviously, the outcomes were good, or else they would not have kept coming back. So the treatments themselves were going great, but they were coming there for more than simply the body work or, the touch-up or the facial or whatever. They were really coming to a safe space that they felt completely accepted. And that's huge. That's huge. I have to say, that's not how you feel when you go to the doctor's office usually.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, you feel as if you're being moved along, that there's a protocol, and hopefully we do have good relationships with our physicians. But there was a whole level of closedness, I feel, when you go to your doctor that is different than the openness that I saw that people would come to us. And so many, many times, our therapists end up more privy to personal medical information than their physician. They will literally say to their massage therapist, or we have a specialized form of stretch therapy at our place called fascial stretch therapy, which is just the results are amazing. For pain relief, if you're a premier athlete, it's a really great way to get an edge, but the therapists would say, I need to get in touch with the doc. I'm not sure that the doc is aware of what's going on. Or, they would say, I'm going to tell you this, but I'm not going to tell my doctor. And I'm like, that doesn't seem right. So we've done a lot of work to really bridge the gap with traditional medicine as well. We refer to doctors all over the valley for all types of specialties, and we have a really great working relationship with them.
Sounds like a wonderful place. One specific location, or are you in multiple locations?
We're in North Scottsdale, just south of Kierland, right on Scottsdale Road.
Very good. And been there for the times that you've been involved?
So when I came on board, we expanded from their original concierge practice. And so for the last 3 years, we opened the Wellspring location.
Awesome.
So,
and you mentioned, you snuck the word facial in there. So tell us a little bit about the other services that we haven't mentioned yet.
Yeah, so there's facial aesthetics services. We have a professional makeup artist as one of our estheticians. Cool. So we'll do a lot of microblading, as well as a very big part of the aesthetics offerings. And it's all just part and the parcel of bringing a person up to a level that they feel really good about themselves. And again, not having been from this, it's not about the beauty care or this kind of very superficial approach. It is meaningful to create a good program of facials to help people heal skin problems, to really take the time where they feel like, okay, I'm going to come here for a whole year and do your program, and we get great results. We have an awesome line of products called Osmosis, natural, very, well-developed kind of MD supervised product. And it really just gets results. My wife, Pagona, brought that on board after a number of years because she was using the product and it helped her heal some blemishes and such on her face. So we really believe in that. Nothing that we provide in the center is something that we do not believe in wholeheartedly.
Yeah, that you wouldn't do yourselves.
Yeah, and often, me having come in more of the business approach, I'll be like, can we put this out there? And they're like, no, we just haven't had enough time with this product. We don't feel ready to share it with our people. So we take that responsibility very seriously.
I love the balance too between your wife and the team and you from the business perspective, being able to just make it this perfect organization.
And they offer a lot of unique ththings that you haven't, like you have a great CBD massage, which is really
unique. So what are the kinds of different massages? You mentioned stress therapy, but the CBD massage, I've never heard of that before.
Oh yeah, that's great. So we just have we vetted a number of providers of CBD. We chose someone locally here who formulated a couple of modifications to our lotions and treatments, gave us some pointers about that. So provide a CBD massage is really great for a number of the healing practices that we do. And then we'll expose people to other types of massage or other approaches. Often, I just don't believe that people get a deep awareness of all the different types of massage techniques that can be applied, all the different approaches, acupressure, etc. So we spend a lot of time bringing in a variety of modalities within massage.
And educating.
Absolutely educating,
Yeah. You mentioned a year-long program. Can you talk to us a little bit about if our listeners are curious and they're in the area or willing to drive, which I have no doubt people are doing that. What does it look like to be a member, or tell us a little bit about the unique programs you offer in the packages?
Yeah, so we do what would be typical is a monthly, massage or 2 monthly massages. People also will incorporate an aesthetics package into that because it is a process. It's something that you do have to spend a lot of time with a person up front in a non-salesy way, explaining the validity of the process and what's going to happen. And certainly we stand behind everything. So if it's not working out the way they want, we always, develop a solution with them. But typically, whether it comes to massage or aesthetics, you do need a program. You need to do it more than once. You need to do it consistently. And so when we develop memberships and packages, it's about empowering our clients to really you take advantage of it because we want them to do it. We want them to get the results. We don't want to just charge them $200 at a fancy resort for one massage. We really want
the Groupon that comes flying by, and I'm guilty of that.
And that's okay.
Of course it is. But at the same time, yes, if we're really wanting to go and create this mind, body, and spirit feeling, having a relationship like with somebody on your team or multiple people on the team who know my body, know my emotions, know the stress level in my business, and where I carry it exactly. That relationship is priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's why we'll take the time at our center as well. We offer educational seminars and workshops. We run retreats there on occasion. So when we have a group of patients that we feel are ready for something else, a deeper experience that they can share now that we all speak the same language about what we're really going for here, we'll host a wonderful retreat and
Tell them
really
where you
take it
went.
to the next level.
And it's not like a retreat in the woods. I mean, you guys went to Greece, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a sort of...
Wow.
Yeah. Well, now we get to storytelling for sure, because that's a different thing. So my wife and I are both Greek, and it just came out of the business. This was her thing years ago, but we end up, when there's enough clients, we'll take them over to Greece, where we're from. We're actually, my wife is from the region called Epidaurus, which is literally the ancient healing center of the world.
Wow.
So the history goes back 3,000 years. There's evidence even before the ancient Greeks that people would come from all over the Mediterranean to this region that had healing baths, natural springs. It had a theater. There was a whole cult of healthcare. And that's actually where the Greek god of medicine is said to be from. And so my wife
it's
is
running
actually
through
from
her
that
veins.
village.
Yeah.
It really is. And she's kind of my Artemis, So we'll take people there and show them side of Greece. They can certainly go to the beaches and have, sundowners and experience the typical part of Greece, but we do a more nature-bound, more holistic experience. So we'll take them to villages where a cousin of my wife will cook a meal in the village under the stars. And it's really the whole thing, because the nutrition when you go to rural Greece is amazing, because they eat everything from around there. There's very few ingredients.
They have the whole diet, the Mediterranean diet.
Exactly.
Nico is actually 144 years old. He only looks like he's in his 30s.
Right.
This is my second go around.
I have no doubt. Maybe even third or fourth. Fascinating.
Yeah.
My daughter just got back from Greece, my 24-year-old, and she loved it. And it's been, I think since early 90s when I was there for a good 2 weeks, just doing a flotilla to all the different Greek isles.
Yeah.
My favorite place to travel. The people, the food, the scenery.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
The Greek people have a deep understanding of the importance of relationships, friendships, openness, community. And that's something that is part of the healing process of being connected to others is what maintains our well-being, ultimately.
Agreed. Yeah, love it. So is there anything else I hadn't thought to ask specifically about Wellspring Center for Health and Healing? Anything else that you had thought, okay, I'm hoping she's going to ask?
I feel like we covered it mostly.
Yeah.
It is about specializing. We don't hire massage therapists out of school. We don't hire massage therapists that we don't know. So we have to know people who know them, because it's a function of character and long-term commitment to clients. And so that's really what I can say, is that whether it's our massage therapist, our esthetician, our makeup artist, these are folks who've been around. They do the work. They love to help people. And so that would be the key takeaway. I mean, no one gets hired if they don't pass my wife's test, and she's pretty good at telling who's in it for the real value of being with others and providing solutions. So.
Perfect way to put an exclamation mark on that. We'll come back again. Feel free to jump in as we talk a little bit more with Jonathan and Sascha.
Sure.
And if you don't mind, the address one more time. And are you on? Do you have a website? I
No,
did say that
Of
jokingly.
course they do.
No,
Yeah,
I don't.
I will say just quickly regarding my work with Jonathan and Sascha, that because of everything I said, because of how these things are important to us, Jonathan is always trying to make sure that we're staying very specific to that. Our online presence is very clearly delivering that message. That's something that's really important. When you're partnering with a digital agency, there's not boilerplate solutions or whatever. He might actually contact me and say, I think we can do this a little better. Let's target this a little more. Let's express this a little bit better. So he's really married to the mission itself and keeps us accountable as well, that we're presenting them with enough content and material and information so that they can do their jobs effectively.
Very good.
He's easy to work with, though.
Obviously.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah. You just want to soak him all up. And I'm
Right?
sure your wife is a carbon copy of that energy. So I asked Nico how he kind of found his way into this business. I'd love to hear a little bit more. Yes, of course you can.
So their website is gowellspring.com.
Go Wellspring.
Gowellspring.com. And what's your address again?
We are 13951 North Scottsdale Road. And we're just north of Scottsdale and Thunderbird intersection there, right on the main drag.
And that, since we're on the topic, best way for someone to get connected, to see if it's a good fit, check out the website. Can they stop by and just introduce themselves? What would you suggest?
Yeah, I would stop by, because so one of the things we do, being connected to Greece, is we bring very natural Greek products to offer to our clients. These are women-owned businesses in Greece, independent, that have brought out these products. And so if you stop by, you'll get a little Greek mountain tea, which I don't know if most people have not tried it, but it's just a natural herb that grows all over the mountains in Greece. And so you come there, we'll give you a little Greek mountain tea, give you a tour, maybe send you home with like a free aromatherapy sample or something.
Yeah.
Like
Some
that.
chocolate.
Some chocolate.
There was chocolate there when I met.
Oh, we have this fancy probiotic chocolate,
Nice.
which you can get at Costco.
But you can also get it at
But
Wellspring.
yes, exactly. But you want to get it from Wellspring.
Yes.
Love
Well,
it.
that's
Good. Excellent. So thank you for that. And we'll make sure that you share that information at the end of the show as well. So how did you two land here? You mentioned that you both have schooling in kinesiology.
Yes. So I'm significantly older than Sasha. So I graduated in a different decade. But we were both kinesiology majors. She used it for a bit. I never did. We moved out here 3 years ago from Los Angeles, where we were both professionally acting, where I've been on Criminal Minds, Shameless,
Grey's Anatomy.
Entourage, Grey's Anatomy.
So not just acting, but like acting.
No, yeah, real
Yes.
acting.
Yeah, I love it.
I found out that he had his degree in kinesiology when I went and watched him perform stand-up at the comedy club, at the Comedy
And
Store.
you'd already been dating.
No, we were actually just friends then.
Yeah.
But he was up there and he had this whole bit about, what do you do with a degree in kinesiology? Nothing. And I was sitting there in the audience like, me too, same boat.
Yeah, that's fun.
And
Yeah.
we worked together, and we worked at a number of places together. And so we really worked well together. So as acting, this is before we got into digital marketing, like 8 years ago or so. Maybe you're better with time. We were a survival job, bartending, serving. And so we worked at like 4 different places, and we really clicked. We really worked together. We were great friends.
We each tried to find a better job and then take the other one
yeah.
along.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we became friends first. Like she created my dating profile at one point. I created her dating profile. And it just sort of blossomed into a whole nother thing. At one point, the relationship wise, it was like, I'm looking at all the reasons that it's wrong. I need to start looking at all the reasons that it's right. And boom, boom, boom.
And once we got all that together, like personally, then we're like, okay, well, and we work well together. So
Just
what should
makes
we
sense,
do?
yeah.
But we didn't have any skills besides acting. And in LA, everybody's acting. So it's not like you're going to teach that. So we thought we were going to do real estate, which is in hindsight very funny because in LA, all actors either do real estate or Pilates. So like those are your two other things once you leave
Right.
waiting tables. So we ended up derailed and we started network marketing. But I got pregnant with our first child, had heinous morning sickness, like completely incapacitated. And we're like, we can't do, like, we really wanted to find out how can you not go to parties, not like, how do you work online? So we really started diving into internet marketing at that point. A few years later, we were really lucky and had this entrepreneur bring us under his wing. So we got to learn everything from him. I mean, we did
Like everything.
insane.
Everything.
Insane.
And
Like-
he knew his
like
stuff.
this is like
yeah.
nobody would know who he is, but he was a big like 7-figure internet marketer. And so he literally mentored us, took us under, like gave us the blueprint to everything and let us cut our teeth.
So fortunate.
And he does everything based on faith. So it was really nice to see someone as well, like operating under a very specific set of principles. So we learned from him for a couple of years. And then the funding we could tell was starting to run down. And we hadn't built anything on our own because we were so focused on his stuff. But we'd had brought on a couple of clients here and there. And we sat down, we were talking with a friend, and she's like, you should start your own agency. Look at, who do you already have as clients? And we're like,
And who do you love to be with?
yes.
Yeah.
But we already had a total niche. It was just in front of us, but it took that conversation with someone else
Love it.
to come up with it.
Which was also crazy too, because more so for me, I was like, we can't go so small in this
He was
niche.
not into
Like,
it at first.
I was like, there's no way because there's not enough business. And And it took me a minute to shift my mindset to go, no, it's perfect. Because I used to be throw spaghetti at a wall.
Yep.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And like just I'll go after everybody because everybody needs what
Right.
we have.
But if we're speaking to everybody, we're speaking to nobody.
Mhm.
And so
Right.
now we did it, and it was the smartest decision that I didn't think of.
It was so
that we
good
ever
once we
did.
got on board because I already had the domain purchased.
I
was like, we're doing
I'm finally
this.
ready. Here we go. This is what this is called.
Yeah.
And she literally is. She is the mind, the brain, the strategist. I'm kind of like, I'm the workhorse
And the
like,
follow-through
and the
guy.
follow-through doer,
Yeah.
and the connector. But like, and that's one of the things that's great about working with her is our skill sets overlap a little, but like what she's great at, like I'm not, and what I'm great at, she's not. And so there isn't like we'll of course we'll butt heads. You know, when you raise kids together and you work together and from home,
right? Yeah.
like I like to tell people like the 5 years that we've been married is like almost like dog year
35.
is like 35 years in like normal people marriage life
Right.
because we're together almost 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so we got into it and it's been great. We get to, meet people like Nico and help people that like see things differently. And, we were working with our chiropractor and just based on like it was so cool, not the numbers out of it, but like she wasn't willing to raise her price. And I just consulted with her and said, you just need to add $5 to what you charge your patient. She came back to me like, it was like a year and a half later, we were talking and we're still friends as the one that was at our birth. She's like, do you know that little bit of advice put an additional $70,000 in my pocket?
Absolutely.
And like, it's little things like that. You're going, we're changing people's lives.
And that's the fun thing. Initially, we wanted to do full-on consultancy, but you run into so many different things there. You can't scale. It was a whole can of worms. Is that can of worms?
Yes.
Okay. But we decided we wanted to shut that can. So we niched down. We're like, okay. And so we'll do things outside of that. And we love like how the guys chat. They'll come up with other promotional ideas or things that they should do outside of that. But for us, in order to scale our business to attract new clients, we had to be super clear in our messaging.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and you have to model that, right? Because if we're looking to you to handle that for our business, there's nothing more frustrating for me for a digital agency or somebody in marketing or who doesn't have an internet presence themselves. That they themselves have let that sit on a shelf because they say they're so busy doing everybody else's. But I need to see not only that personal connection with who I'm working with, but I also need to see that you are practicing what you preach.
And we ran into that for sure at first with me super pregnant, then having the newborn. So it was like, okay, well, take a sec. 'Cause we at least have to build our website, and get now our own social media is running. We don't do that, but we have to practice what we preach.
Yeah.
And it's a really fine line. And I leave that to Sascha most of the time because she's really good at that because I get client focused. And so when I'm client focused, I'm like, what can I do for you and do for you and do for you? It's not about what I need to do from a business because.
And then I'm on the backside going, okay, and how do let's set up, a referral program. Let's set up, how do we touch, our cards program or what do we do to scale so that he's not completely swamped?
Yep. Yeah. Smart. And it's similar to what Nico was saying about the way that the two of them work together. You've got to be able to have different mind and different approach and also come to the same place of agreement to actually move forward in what you're doing. My husband you mentioned mechanics, like this is not mechanic work. My husband is that kind of mechanic that people keep coming back to him because of the relationship they have with him. And we're at a decision in business that we may start working together in my business. And I'm listening very carefully to how are you showing up as a couple because it takes a certain kind of personality and a very deep relationship to be able to be effective and work together all the time and then go home and have a family and do that as well. So kudos to all of you for doing that.
We had to draw some lines on that one.
Of course.
We actually, the thing that we came up with that works the best is that we do every week a marriage meeting. We do that on Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m. while the kids sleep in the car. We drive. And then on Fridays at 2 p.m., we do our business meeting. And so we have different formats for both. We take notes on both, but that way we can address what needs to be worked on here and here without the two meeting.
Love it.
Because what we'd find is things like he'd be frustrated because I wasn't getting work done. I'm like, okay, well, we need to discuss that's not actually work related. That's marriage and, scheduling.
Let's spin that for that meeting.
So once we separate those two, then it goes so much more smoothly, even though it doesn't look like they're separated because it's it's all,
Yeah,
us.
it's all the same thing.
And I think I get excited when I hear like, oh, I might work with my husband or a significant other. I also think, you have to see if it works.
Yep.
Because not everybody is designed for that. We have a lot of friends that are like, I could never work with, and that's good. They're like, they need the space to be able to go. But I think Nico, kind of like us and how he gets to work with Pagona and we get to work together because we're intentional about how we raise our kids and how we do our work and how we live our lives, it makes it work. It
I think
makes
that's
it make
the key
sense.
is the intentionality. If you're intentional about working, anybody intentional about working with their spouse, then you make it work. It's a different because there's going to be roadblocks and things to learn. But if you're coming at it with, okay, well, how do we actually make this work?
Yeah.
Then it will. It's not going to happen by accident by any means.
Well, and again, focusing on what you want.
Yes.
and what's working and not what's not working.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk on behalf of our listeners who may be looking for someone to take care of their digital marketing and that sort of thing. We've used the word SEO a couple of times. Let's back up for our listeners who aren't familiar. What is SEO? Because we're throwing it around like we all know. And is it something you ought to be doing on your own? And how much does it cost? Just give us the 411 on SEO.
So great questions, first of all. And I'll kind of lead with this and you jump in, honey, if there's anything I forget. So SEO is search engine optimization. And you still may be going, what is that? That's essentially if you're looking for a massage in Scottsdale, you type in massage in Scottsdale into Google, and it's the results that come up. By implementing proper SEO over time, you get the results for your client to appear higher in the search engines. And it is important. Can you do it on your own? Yes, it's possible. It's dangerous. If you're going to do it on your own, you need to follow specific practices and protocols, and there's orders, because 5 years ago, you could tweak different things and Google couldn't catch on. Now,
if they catch you, they'll penalize you for it.
Google is too smarter than us, that if it's not or doesn't appear natural, you're toast. And so one of the things that we did, so we offer the services to our clients. The rates can vary depending upon the niche, depending upon all sorts of different aspects.
The size of the city is a big one.
But we also realize that there are a lot of clients that want to do it themselves or also can't afford to bring on an agency full-time on a month-to-month basis because they're new practice or whatever it is. And so we basically offer our services, but we also put together a course called Front Desk SEO. And it's literally so simple that your front desk employee can do it. And so it takes you through it. Now, the difference is the course is designed, it's a one-time thing. They don't have to put another dime into it. But it doesn't have some of the higher level things that we do on the back end.
It's a start for some people.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you'll see significant shifts, but it won't get you the results of bringing us on. And I look at it like it'll get you results, and then you'll see why we can really come in and help you on the powerful side.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to be able to offer that. And so we've had the course built and we have a few people on it, but we haven't actually launched it yet. So we're in the process of going to be launching that and doing what we help others do by running Facebook ads and all of that fun stuff.
Doing that for ourselves.
Yeah, again, to our point earlier. Yeah. Social media marketing and SEO, search engine marketing, are those the same thing? Is that identical?
No. So search engine optimization is essentially taking steps to just get you found based upon keywords. So whether it's massage Scottsdale, facial Scottsdale, also being able to see, what keywords are being out there. Like Nico and I at one point were having a conversation and he wanted to focus on aesthetics. I had to come back and say, we can do this, but there's nobody in the universe goes and searches aesthetic Scottsdale.
I'm going to search for facial.
And it's facial.
Yeah.
Not facials. If you put in facials,
it matters to that degree.
It matters very much to that degree. So,
and location specific, right? If I just put facial out there,
it's general. It'll pull up everything about facials.
But Scottsdale or North Scottsdale or whatever,
or
Kierland
facial near me, or all of those things.
Wow.
I did a really interesting case study because, especially in this industry, they don't understand the power of it. I searched the number one chiropractor in Scottsdale. And then I picked up the phone and I called them and I videoed the whole thing. And I put the phone on speaker and I was like, it gets about 760 searches a month. And I called them and I just was like, hey, I'm working with Google, but I would love to know, you're the number one Scottsdale chiropractor. How many phone calls do you get a month? And I thought they'd say like 100 or 200, which would be great if you get 100 phone calls, but they got 550 calls a month just by being the number one chiropractor. And I'd look at it that way. If you could just get 10% to come in the door, that's 55 new clients a month. And so that's the power, because it's the long term. It's not necessarily evergreen, but it's the forever. When you rank and you're at the top on the first page and get up to the top 3 rankings, you end up having to grow your business because you're going to be getting those kind of things.
And it's generally the least labor intensive as far as marketing strategies go for the actual business owner.
But you got to do it right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, to the untrained eye, we don't necessarily know what that is. We might be spitballing, but there are so many different aspects and things that and ways to research what would fit for us specific, like the example you gave with Nico.
And that's really the end that we handle. So I guess I should rephrase. It's the least intensive for the business owner compared to doing like social media, where they're responsible for coming up with content on the daily basis. And if you haven't posted in a while, your account looks like it's dead and nobody's going to follow you. It's completely different set of variables. Mm-hmm. The way that I look at it is it's just, what is it? What is the what's your goal of doing it? It's intentionality, right? Sometimes people, if they go, well, I need an Instagram. Why? Well, just because I need it. Then you probably don't.
Are your prospects and your clients on Instagram?
It's like when I was an actor and I was like, I need a LinkedIn profile.
Yes, we did that.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a non sequitur, but like, it doesn't make any sense. But like Nico and I had conversations about this when it came to a site and content and all of these things that needed to be on there, because you need to be on the same page. But what we're selling in a weird way, it's not tangible.
Right.
It's not. It's almost like saying, here, I'm going to sell you some faith, because what we do works 100% of the time.
Oh my gosh! Can I tell the gym story?
Oh, yes.
This is the funniest. We have this, so he has to build, like, what goes on his site for SEO is oftentimes different than what a client would build on their own site. So the words have to be very specific to rank and all of that. So he had a gym owner, we're going to call it Deer Valley. Well, it's not in this area, but this gym owner calls and goes, hey, I don't know if the SEO is working, but can you please change the website? Because it says Deer Valley Gym, and people keep coming in and asking if this is Deer Valley Gym. And we died. We're like, okay, well, we'll put the logo on there, but this means it is working, because they're literally calling your gym the wrong name based on what it says.
Because they're going to your site.
Yeah.
So
that's a great example.
And so that works, and that's why the case study is important, because, if we're running Facebook ads or Instagram ads for people, it's instantaneous satisfaction. We've become a fast food society where it's like you push, you expect the pull to happen right away.
So you mentioned that it's not necessarily tangible. With that in mind, what kind of results should people expect or want from a digital marketer?
Digital marketer is sort of general.
Okay.
In the sense, it depends on what aspect that they're working on. If they're working with us for SEO, you'll see good results in 30 days. And it depends on the competition. It depends on the other competition are they employing SEO services as well? I personally, and I hope this comes across right, it doesn't matter to me who else is employing other social media. Over time, I will get you to the top. That's how confident I am in what we do, because we've done it. 30 days, you'll see significant results, but I always compare it to like going to the gym. If you've used me as an example, I'm still losing baby weight from baby number 1. You can't go to the gym once and expect to look good.
Right.
You can't go to the gym once a week and expect to have the body that you see on TVs or in People magazine. You have to go consistently, and you have to put in the time, and it's consistency over time. And so that's what I tell all of our clients. It's like you see results in the first 30 days, and then it's just a matter of continuing. And in 3 months, you'll be better off than you were before we started, and in 6 months, and in a year,
And it depends too what you're paying your digital agency for. We once worked in the very beginning on a project, and we found out that this person was paying for Facebook marketing, but his business was better served by LinkedIn. His clients, his competition didn't have a Facebook presence, so it wasn't relevant at all, but he was paying a lot of money every month for it. So I would see if you can double check, like, maybe what's your competition's presence look like on this platform? Are you sure you need to be building it there? Because you could be paying money and not getting any results on something that there's no way for you to get results on.
Mm-hmm.
There are variables.
You mentioned Facebook. Do Facebook ads work?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
It's a process. It's always testing. It's always tweaking. It's always optimizing. And I think the offer has to be right to who they're serving it to, and has to be delivered in a consistent way. And things are always shifting. So it's really about there's three things you want to do, and I might get a little techie. You want to build what's called a pixel list, which is like where you just tag people. Then you want to build an email list, and then you want to be able to sell. And so you need to have a lot of things in place. You need to have your social media online presence available so that, like, if people can understand who you are. But you can drive leads, So let's say you start off and you're driving a lead and it's costing you X amount of dollars. Well, the goal is to lower the price, lower the cost per lead, or lower the cost per conversion to a new client or new purchase or whatever that may be.
So how does Facebook lead generation and SEO work, or do they work together, or do they?
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I like to call it, it's my terrible analogy, or what I've coined it. It's the now and later, the 1980s hard candy strategy. It's SEO is the stuff that lays the foundation. Like, it's just rock solid. You do it, and the results happen. Facebook ads are deliver right now. It's like a fire hose. You turn it on or you turn it off. You need some leads today. You need some leads in the next week. Let's turn on some Facebook ads.
And it's perfect for our client base. For a different niche market, it might not work. Like if you have someone who is a business coach and they turn on Facebook ads, but they don't have any following, that's going to affect. People are going to fact check them, look them up and see, and then the ads aren't going to work no matter what. Whereas for ours, as long as they go to their page and they see the business exists, then the ads are going to work. It's completely niche market specific.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, that's really what it is. And so what's great about Facebook is you can track it all. You know where it's coming from. You stop paying, it shuts off. SEO, the stuff that you're doing, the stuff that's putting on the site, it doesn't go away. So you just know that your phone is ringing more. But you can track how many people are coming to your site. You can track all these different things. So there's a lot of stuff that we do on the back end that we can track and see how things are doing, the number of hits your site, the number of clicks, the number of conversions. You can track all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Where does voice search fit into all this? And let me just let us know that we've only got about 5 minutes left, but I don't want to overlook that because I know that was a fascinating conversation.
Yeah, it's and we can both talk about it. It's AI. Artificial intelligence, and basically...
People are like, my phone is listening to me.
Yeah, is like that really listening to us?
Everybody says no.
They say it's not, but...
There's no way that's... Here's the thing. As marketers, we don't have access to what someone searches for on their phone. It used to be funny. The credit card agencies were clearly reporting to Facebook for a while because you could target based on what credit card they used and what spending amount. I mean, it was insane. Now,
scary, yeah, actually.
And now it's not.
I mean, great for marketers,
yeah,
but scary.
So you can't get that sort of specific anymore, even though the data is still there. So is it obvious that we can track based on that? No, but you can get so specific on things that we think the data is there. But everybody denies it, right? But as far as can you optimize for it, the search stuff, like we have Alexas in our house, it's still a work in progress and it's very primitive. It's like if you typed a very short keyword phrase on your computer, you're going to get a bunch of random results. Alexa's still in those early stages. It's not serving up, but what's going to happen is your best SEO, the best built stuff is still going to be what shows up. So good SEO is good SEO. That's what's going to help
across the board, really.
Across the board. Yeah.
And it's also interesting because what you would search on a computer is going to be different than a voice search. You might go massage Scottsdale. You're not going to pick up your phone and go massage Scottsdale. You're going to say, where can I get a massage in Scottsdale? So voice search actually is going to gear more towards authentic, real conversation. So you have to marry both in an all natural way, because where in your website are you going to put, where can I get a massage in Scottsdale, and not have it look strange?
So there's some SEO adjustments that need to take place to consider what, I'm going to use the word platform, that's probably not the right term, but which platform we're on, or which device we're using, or how we're interacting with our search.
And because mobile is, the pendulum is swinging now where still people use their desktop, and I use mine, but I work from mine, but the majority of stuff happens on your mobile phone. So you need to make sure that it's mobile search and you're optimized. And now we're able to track not just what's happening on people's computers, but where you're ranking differently on your mobile device versus on a desktop.
Which
too.
affects how you do your ads, because if your clientele is largely searching from their phone, you need your ads served up in a way that's phone friendly and not desktop friendly.
Yeah, there's nothing more frustrating than getting on somebody's website. It's clearly been designed for a laptop and a computer versus a phone.
Oh,
like, are you kidding me?
Google completely penalizes for that one now too.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and again, if I'm building my own website, I don't know the nuances of that. I need to rely
nor
on a
should you.
professional. Yeah. Nico, as you're listening to your partners in crime here, as they take care of your digital marketing, what are any thoughts? I mean, are you familiar with all this? Or are you just like, oh, I'm so glad that they've got this handled because I can focus on all these other things that are bringing money in? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of it is I know what I know because of working with Jonathan and Sasha, because they take the time to educate me about why we're doing certain things a certain way, what the necessity is to do that. And it's helped us because then we have made sure that our messaging is much more specific, highly developed.
And bringing in the right clientele, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's really important to reach the right type of person. I'd rather reach them than 5 of the wrong people who come for the one-off whatever, because it doesn't really provide any value, long-term value to anyone.
Yeah,
So.
well said. Yeah. So one more time, let's share. Well, first of all, before we kind of close out the show, for our listeners, they're in the wellness industry and they're looking for somebody to work with to help them take their business to the next level. What's the first step with you?
Go to our website, holisticmade.com, and that's MADE. And you can see what we do. You can schedule a consult call on our contact page.
You could message us via Messenger, which is on our on our website as well.
Yeah, and so you can do all that and just to reach
Have a
out.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll say, especially for your listeners, and because of our relationship, Karen, is when we go looking for clients and clients to work with, we don't look outside of the health and wellness and intentionally driven space. But if you have a listener that has, an electrician, a mechanic, or anything outside of it, because they've been listening to your show, we're happy to have a conversation with them. What we do works for everybody.
Yeah, love that.
We just have chosen in how we go out and
How we
find
market
people and how we
ourselves.
market. This is our niche, but we have and do work with people outside of it if they come on a referral basis or something like this,
Love that.
because people need it. People,
Yep.
and hopefully after listening to this, you can see where our hearts are coming from.
Well, and I think that's the key, right? Getting to have an opportunity to work with somebody. That's why we do what we do at Business Radio X and why we spend a whole hour in conversation with business owners. We really want people to get to know you specifically and the clientele that you serve to see if we're a good fit, right? That's what this is all about. So I appreciate that gracious offer for folks outside of the health and wellness industry to reach out, even if it's just a conversation, a consultation. I know that would be of great benefit for people to connect. Wonderful.
Actually, should we offer the listeners if they want to do it themselves?
Sure.
We have our course, right?
Yes.
Ball is
So
rolling.
we'll just be crazy. So our course, it's $497. You get into our private group for coaching. It gives you everything. It's step by step.
Awesome.
It comes with a Google Maps course right now that's bundled with it. Any of the listeners that want to actually just do the course and do it themselves, they would go to, seo.holisticmade.com. So it's
Okay.
seo.holisticmade.com. And what was the coupon code we did for Geeks?
Yes.
If you put in the coupon code GEEKS, GEEKS, just because I don't know if you're listening to this now and you may want to do it, I haven't had time to put another one in, it'll knock it down to $297.
Wonderful.
So it'll take $200 off. And so any of your listeners that want to do that or want to have a call with us, we'd love to be able to help out.
Yeah, fantastic. Very generous. Appreciate that. Good. So Holistic Made, and it's MADE.com. And you're obviously out there on social media.
Yes.
So where can we find you there?
Holistic Made on every platform.
Everything.
Oh,
Facebook,
hey,
Instagram,
consistent.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Good to hear. Very good. All right. Thank you guys so much for being a part of Phoenix Business
Thank
Radio
you.
today,
Thank you.
and for being wise enough to include Nico in the conversation, because we had an opportunity to learn about you and your team and the well work that you're doing on behalf of the families and individuals that come and spend time with you at Wellspring Center for Health and Healing. Nico, one more time, tell us where you're located and the website, and we'll close out the show.
Yeah, thank you again. So we are at 13951 North Scottsdale Road, Suite 110. And our website is gowellspring.com.
Excellent. Thank you guys again for being here, and we hope to stay in touch with you. And I look forward to hearing about anybody who has reached out as a result of this segment and what that means for you guys business-wise. You've been listening to Phoenix Business Radio with Business Radio X, broadcasting live from within the Max 6 and Conscious Capitalism Arizona studio. Some media leans left, some lean right, and we lean business. Until next time, I'm Karen Nowicki. Thanks for listening.